I purchased these products at a discounted rate as a partnership with Natasha Denona. If you use my code to make a purchase, you will get a discount, and I will also get a small commission out of it at no extra cost to you. Today, I'm going to review some of the Natasha Denona products that I have today. It is the High Glam Concealer, and then I also have the Bronze and Glow Duo right here. And then the High Glam Blush in the color Fresh Mauve, and this is what it looks like. And then the I Need a Warm palette. As a makeup artist, I notice these things about packaging. You see how the back has holes? It's actually for, I don't have anything that's thin to poke it out. You're going to poke the hole right here to pop out and refill the eyeshadow, and that's really nice.
If you want to see a tutorial on this lip, I'm going to post one on my Instagram. Make sure you go over there and follow me at makeup_Lily, spelled L-Y-L-Y, so you can see how that looks.
Today we're going to swatch the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette in the color I Need a Warm palette. So this is what it looks like. We're going to start from here, going down, second row, third row, this way.
Let's try to fit all 15 here. So I have, the first one is called Soft Spot. Fancy, Mellow, Phenomena, Ripe, Elm, Snug, Vim, Push, Fervor, Pep, Homie, Hanker, Dynamism, Flash Over. Okay, let's see if the camera can pick this up. So pretty. Let's jump right on in.
Going in with the color Ripe. For my eye shape, I have a lot of space right here. So I do want to make sure that I put the eyeshadow a little bit higher when I open my eyes and put my eyelashes so you can see the eyeshadow better. So on this area, I do want to make sure that I diffuse the transition color right here. Watch and learn. When I open my eyes, you see how I have a fold right here? I feel like I could go a little bit higher, so whatever's remaining on my brush, I want to go higher, like this. So it could do a light wash of the eyeshadow color without looking too intense. And if I need to pick up more, I'll pick up more, and I'll aim it right at this spot. Is the part that I think I need a little bit more shadow. So I would pack it in, because sometimes swiping it kind of takes away that area. So for some reason, for my eyes, when I swipe a little bit too much, this area that I'm always complaining about doesn't take up the eyeshadow. So I swipe for most of the shade, and then whatever, if I had to pick up, I just pack it on right here so it can show up. And I want to double check that it all looks even. You see how this side I need a little bit more. Just like that. My shape, when I look straight into the mirror like this, mine is down here. I notice that, you see how I have these extra creases and folds? I try to work with it because in real life, not everyone has asymmetrical eyelids. So I do pay attention, like when I open my eyes, you see how this one eats up the eyeshadow way more because I have like a quadruple fold right here. So I have to pay attention to, when I look in the mirror, if I need to mimic by placing the eyeshadow a certain way so that it can look even. So I think this is about right. I'm going to go in with the color Soft Spot. I'll list everything down in the description. On the very tip, it's going to go in my crease area, which is where I want it dark. But you see how I have the transition color over here? I want to make sure that I don't go too high, or else it will cover this color and you won't see it, or I'll have a really raccoon looking eye and we don't want that. So you just want to put it like about right here, I think. It's a little bit hard to see in film, but I'm just literally digging the brush inside my eye socket and going back and forth right here, just so elegantly. I'm not going higher, I'm not going lower. And I'm going to keep doing this until it looks about right.
So you'll get something that looks like this.
So remember I said my eyelids are uneven. On this side, when I have it open, you can't see my the dark crease color anymore, so I do have to go higher on this side. And sometimes you don't really know until you do the other side of the eye to figure out, you know, if you want to go higher on a certain area or not. And the only complicated part about uneven or creasy eyelids like mine, it's sometimes, you know, it's really hard to make it even no matter how hard you try. You see? This spot right here has more light space than this side. But either way, I'm going to go in with a highlight color so that it doesn't show up here as much, and you'll see what I'm talking about. My eyeliner is going to be the color Pep. And this is my business card trick because I like to have extra straight line. If I could get it to look very snatch and have a super straight line and it's very fast, why not? Everyone's always looking for like a cheat way to do the makeup faster. And the business card trick does make the eyeshadow look much more snatch looking and very, so. And then you see how all of this falls out. Don't worry too much. We're going to go back with the foundation brush that I use with powders. And brush, I'm going to go underneath my eyes with the shade Hanker. It kind of has like an army green, dirty brown type of color. I feel like it looks okay. Because sometimes I don't want it to be too dark under here. Then it starts to look very like muddy. And even though this is a muddy shade, but it's very like, look how flattering it looks on my eyes. It's not too dark. It's not like brown. It has a little bit of sparkles or like a sheen, if you want to say. And it's very creamy. So it gives like a very like shaped lip brush. I'm going to pick up the color Homie. And the reason why you want to do all of the dark shades before you do your light shade is because in the middle, when you do the light shades, this is what pops out in photos more. So let's say that I did this light shade first and I went in with the dark colors after. That's what makes it look a little bit muddy, and that's not the look that I'm trying to go for. Unless if I'm trying to go for like a gradient, kind of smoky-ish type of look, then I could do this shade first and then blend in the dark colors, but I want my light middle shade right here to pop out, so that's why I do it after all of the dark colors. Because I don't want my light color to mesh with the dark colors, I want it to pop. And another trick is using your finger. I feel like it makes the eyeshadow pop a little bit more, so you see how so you want to get in there and go like this. And this eyeshadow palette is very pigmented, very creamy, glides on really smooth. And I feel like it has a lot of complementary colors that you could mix and match together and get different type of looks. There's no wrong way to do the eyeshadow look, but if you're trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing for like pictures, because I do a lot of weddings and I do have to pay attention to how the photographer films and takes pictures of the makeup, so I do have to be a little bit more coordinated with how I place the eyeshadow colors. I'm going to use these products today. So I already have my foundation on and I already finished my eyes and put on the eyelashes. Usually I'm a XXL eyelash type of girl because of my extra folds right here. I like it to go like this and cover them so it can look a little bit more even, but I'm going to do the soft eyelashes because I do want to show wearable looks for you guys. Let's check out the concealer. I am using the shade YP3, if that shows up. And then on the back of my hand, this is what it looks like. So based on messing with this based on messing with this concealer, it's very creamy and it's not thick. It's kind of like lightweight, but I think if you layer it enough, it's also buildable coverage. So this is what it looks like. I kind of get the feeling that it's more on the wet side, so I do have to put a light layer and let it like dry down a little bit before I blend it out so that I can still have the coverage and then also still blend it out a little bit. So I do have a little bit of powder underneath here, and I think that will help blend it out better and stick better. So I'm going to place it where I want it to be, and I feel like this is my shade, but I'm going to blend it out and see how light it really looks. It's my first time trying it, so it goes on very creamy, and it definitely feels lightweight, but at the same time it's thick enough that it has a little bit of coverage on it. So this is how I usually highlight my face. So I do have a little bit of setting powder all over my face from Ben. It's called the Neutral Translucent Powder, and I just did like a light swipe. I feel like that will help make the concealer stick a little bit. I don't think the concealer will like adhere to the skin as good without something kind of powdery in between so it could catch on, if that makes sense. So yeah, right away it blends really pretty. Like, can you see that? It definitely brightens up my face. I think the real test is blending underneath the eye. So this is a really nice like sheen type of concealer without being too thick, because some concealers are too thick and it feels very cakey. This one doesn't. So it does streak a little bit. I probably could have waited a little bit longer and let the concealer sit. I do have to blend in the cream blush so that it could stick better. So that's what this looks like. For underneath my eyes, I like to go in with a dry beauty blender. It does dry pretty nice. So it does give coverage and brightness, and I feel like I nailed the color shade on myself just based on looking from the online store. I think I nailed it pretty well. A really nice match. And on the other side, you see how I blend it and it's not really going anywhere, but it's brightening and covering my eyes. See that? So I realized I do want to add a little bit more about right here. This is a pretty bright concealer. Look at that. So pretty, and when you look up close in person, it's natural. It's not too cakey. It's not too liquidy that it, streaks too much. So now that it's drying down, it looks really nice. It also feels nice. Super bright. So pretty. Today we're going to use the high blush in the color Fresh Mauve. You can't really see the label because it's like a clear label, but it looks really nice. You know how when you look at the label and you're like, ooh, I kind of spent a bit of money on my makeup? As an everyday consumer, you could probably, double dip in this, but I'm a makeup artist, so I scoop out what I need. Look at how creamy that is. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, this blush is very creamy because I tried it on this side, so let's see what I could get out of here. I just grabbed the slightest touch, and look at how pigmented that looks. It's so creamy, so bright. And one thing that I do as a bridal makeup artist, I do makeup a little bit more on the heavier side because flash photos, videos, and whatnot comes to play, and it does wash off the makeup a lot. So I do makeup a little bit heavier than like an everyday average type of makeup. But this is so pretty. So I do want to blend it out a little bit with my dry beauty blender that I did with a little bit of the concealer. I want to diffuse the blush a little bit more, and look at that. So pretty of a mauve color, right? So I tried the highlight area of the blush, and it's really pigmented, so let me show you what it looks like. So you just need one little dot, super creamy also. I use my finger to blend it out a little bit. So this is what that looks like. And I do want to polish the look a little bit, so I will use the same beauty blender and blend it out. So this is that shiny, blushy, highlighty, mauve, whatever you want to call it. It's blushing. Let's try this is like the mini bronze and glow duo, if you can see. But the packaging is super shiny, and it's like, feels very like luxury, but still affordable. And then I'm gonna go in with my brush kind of like this. Okay. So I do like a little bit of a bronze, but sometimes some bronzers come off a little bit too orange on my skin tone. But I feel like this is not too cool, not too warm. What do you think? So what I did is sometimes when you do all this extra contouring and blush and whatever, it kind of looks a little bit muddy. One of the tricks is to kind of carve out with a concealer. So like I'm not picking up any extra concealer, it's just whatever was remaining. And then you see how the blush kind of stops right here. So when I look straight on, I feel like it kind of makes my cheeks look saggy, or like it's sagging down. So I like to carve out to like this point so that my cheeks look a little bit more lifted. So you'll see what I mean. And like I said, the concealer is really pigmented, even though I'm not picking up any extra. And I'm gonna blend it out and diffuse it, but I do kind of want to do like a pressy, swipey type of movement right here because I'm not trying to wipe off my contour, and I'm not trying to wipe off anything else underneath it. I just want to enhance the cheekbone. And I go back in with my foundation brush to do this. This is the one with the powders. Just blend it out like highlight side. I'm gonna go on the high temples of my cheeks. Ooh, look at that. So what I like about it is that it has enough pigment, but it's not too crazy that you can't do it straight from home, even though you are not a makeup artist. So if you're looking at like literally high glam makeup products for your makeup kit, but you're not sure where to start, but you want to spend some money, this would be the go-to, because I use drugstore makeup as my, usual, because I do go through makeup pretty easily. And that's what that looks like. I'm gonna put a little bit here, because I don't like to look too shiny, so just a little bit. Do we like how this looks?
So I do want to be here to educate any aspiring makeup artists or any hairstylists that want to learn makeup and start, getting into the business of the bridal world, or just doing makeup for your own self. You can also pick up some of these tips and tricks from me. And if you're interested, subscribe to me and then stay tuned for more looks. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. I have an Instagram and a TikTok and a website. I also have a blog there where you could look at all my recommendations of skincare, makeup, whatnot, whatever elevates your makeup and hair. Please go check it out.